on to the coilovers. Finally getting to install some pretty cool parts on my car. Today, what I'm going with is actually Annex suspension coilovers. I saw this brand for the first time, honestly, watching Speed Academy, and those guys worked with Annex suspension to build a custom suspension on their Celica. And after watching that episode, learning about the company and how much time and effort they put into like building coilovers, I decided, hey, they're pretty cool. Let me see if they have coils for my S15, and they do. I decided to go with the Fastroad Pro coils. The coilovers that are more specific to like a street build. They're not necessarily as focused on like track and racing. I decided to go with that because this car is obviously going to be a street build. I will maybe do it at a track day occasionally, but I am not someone taking my car to the track, especially not this thing. I don't want to roll it into a wall. So I decided to go with them because they actually offer a spring rate consultation. You can go onto their website and sign up for a spring rate consultation for free, and they will pick the spring rates that are applicable for your driving style or for your goals for your car. So what I ended up going with was 6K and 5K. This was after talking to somebody from Annex and them even adjusting my spring rate later on before they even built and shipped my coilovers. So pretty cool that they offer that service, because most of the time you just buy coilovers and they're just already set spring rates. So you can actually get something custom made for your car without any extra cost. And if you guys actually decide to go with Annex, you can use my code alexkaspiofficial for $125 off your coilovers. So I'm going to start getting my old suspension apart, and then let's get these things installed so I can hopefully get this thing back on the road. Okay, so what I'm going to start with is the front left. I have never had this apart before, but I did spray again with PB Blaster earlier this morning. So everything's been soaking for hours and hours, so hopefully it comes off. But these are the two bolts you have to take off right here. Lines for the brake lines and whatnot. And then there's going to be three bolts on the top of the strut. Hell yeah. Right off. Like butter. Thank you, Mr. PB Blaster. Dude, I love these lights with the magnets. Oh my god. This is awesome. Wow, you didn't see it because I wasn't recording, but yeah, as soon as you take the top three and the lower two off, it comes right out. This thing is beefy. Yeah. All right, let me go grab some Annex. Okay, so it looks like, according to the installation guide, the only coilovers that need bump stop height adjustment are the ones that actually have a helper spring, which are the Club Spec Pros for my car. Definitely want to make sure you set your camber properly, or set your coilovers in properly so you can adjust camber. So you want to make sure it can go this way. Only gripe so far, Annex. The brake line bolt does not line up. Okay, so neither brake adapter lines up. So this one doesn't line up. It's too high. It's too high. It should be like down here. And this one, it doesn't stretch all the way back there. Like on the original shock or adapter here. It's way closer. It's right here. It's down lower. Should be like right here, but it's forcing inwards. But it's like pointing inwards. I don't know if maybe that's like a 240 thing. Maybe that's what they base it off of, but yeah. That's not working for the S15 here. That is unfortunate. I don't really have a choice. I'm gonna have to just zip tie, because I can't do anything else. I want to make sure they're secure, and I don't want them to like rub on anything, so not my favorite. Maybe Annex will have an answer for me. I'll have to reach out to them. Okay, zip tied, but it's on metal right here too on the back, so it's not on the line, which I'm okay with. But yeah, there's movement, there's play, so this one's not moving too bad. Maybe room for improvement there. Alrighty, installed and zip tied. Now I gotta move on to the rears. Man, I tell you one thing. I've worked on several suspensions over the years. I wouldn't say I'm professional by any means at taking apart suspension, but this has got to be the easiest suspension I've ever had to take apart. It just is a couple bolts and it comes right out. I think the hardest thing about this coilover job so far is going to be setting the ride height, the camber. Yeah, so far, wow, pretty easy on Silvia's. These S chassis boys got it easy. Okay, so here are the rears, and I'm a little confused because this one has a helper spring and this is loose. So preload is not set. I've never adjusted preload before, so that's gonna be fun. So the Fastroad Pros only allow you to lower your car so much. It says 40 millimeters, which is like 1.5 inches. I don't know if I really want to go lower than that. I'll find out. This looks like the Club Spec Pro. Honestly, this is what the Club Spec Pro looks like with the helper spring. So I'm confused. What did I buy? I'm sure Annex has an answer for me. I think what I'll do is just get it installed. We'll start there. We'll figure out adjustments later. Oh my god, I lost one of these nuts for the top of the shock in like a black hole. There's like a black hole here there's a hole inside the strut tower. So be very careful when you're putting your nuts on because it could just slide right down inside your interior, and I feel like you have to take off the side panel to get in there. Luckily, I used my trusty dusty magnet here, and I was able to get it after like 10 minutes of fishing. Holy smokes, and I'm dripping inside this car. It is like 120 degrees in this car. Shocks, all the coilovers are installed. I'm gonna call it here for the evening, do some more research about what I need to do for the rears, because apparently I gotta set the preload, and I didn't know I had to do that. So that's something I'm gonna have to use like a tape measure and make sure I get it really accurate, because it's supposed to be a certain distance and needs to be accurate. So I need to learn how to do that and properly set it up, and then I need to adjust ride height on these, and then I can finally throw some wheels on. All right, today is a brand new day. Well, it's actually the end of the day because today was work day, but I am ready to try and tackle adjusting these coilovers today. We'll see how it goes. I did a little research about like setting spring preload and doing that accurately. I'm still a little confused. I have questions, but I am trying to set up the rears today, also kind of test fit my wheels. So without further ado, I got, ta-da, CE28s. These are 18 by 9.5 plus 22 offset. These are the newer CE28Ns. I got them in diamond silver. These things took like 6 months to show up and arrive at TF Works. And yeah, I am super excited to put these on. I'm gonna test fit one of these wheels, see how it looks. Major dream wheel right here. Wow, I've definitely always wanted a set of these, and they are not disappointing me right now. I remember being like 16, 17, 18 and getting into cars and like loving TE37s, bronze ones, and I never thought I'd actually buy them. Because I mean, let's be honest, when you're younger and you don't have any money, it's like, why would I pay that much for a set of wheels? But now, we got them, and I can't wait to actually have this thing finished on the ground so I can actually see what it looks like. And blammo, look at that. She's low. I'm actually gonna raise this up because that's too low. It's gonna settle too. The wheel's tucking in. It looks good, but I'm probably gonna raise it like 1/4 inch, I think. Hell yeah. I don't know if it's touching the coil. It looked very close. in there. It's very close. I'll have to see under compression here. I'll have to stick my head in there. All right, this morning I got out here and did a little adjustment on the fronts, and I got my ride height dialed in. So I'm sitting pretty. I got some gap in there. Obviously I gotta let it settle still, so we'll see where we're at. I could require further adjustment. We'll see. I did not do bump stops on here for the direction. However, I did set up camber, so I set it to -1. A little bit of poke, but not too much, just about where it should be. And I started on the rears. So what I did was I took my coilovers back out with the rears. So I got them out again, and then I disconnected the sway bar end link so that I can move this assembly up and down. What I'm gonna do is adjust my bump stop height. So here I got my coils out and apart, and I'm gonna throw them back in without the springs and adjust the bump stop height to make sure that with my wheel fully compressed, I am gonna be hitting the bump stop and not rubbing into my wheel well. So I ended up reaching out to Annex because I was kind of confused based on the documentation on how exactly I was supposed to install the rears, because the rears are different from the fronts. The fronts do have preload set and already adjusted, and it does not have to be adjusted on the rears, at least for this application. He said that not all Fastroad Pros come with helper springs, but this application does, because apparently with this chassis, they found that using a helper spring would reduce droop. I'm trying to remember what he said. He said that they put the helper spring in to make sure that the coilover had maximized travel and would able to keep the wheel down during hard cornering and be able to keep traction. So super cool if they did that, but this configuration is a little different from the front. So it was a little confusing because the documentation didn't really explain that. The guy I spoke with even said, yeah, the document isn't as updated as it should be. He's going to work on updating that. So hopefully in the future there will be some further documentation, or hopefully you can just watch my video and learn how to do this. The one thing he did say that you had to do in the rear was make sure that you set bump stop height. Since I did do it last night, but I started playing around with this way more and it's all screwed up now. So what you want to do is loosen the lower lock spring, and then there is a sight hole here in the bottom. You can see that right there. So what you want to do is make sure that the shock body is visible in the sight hole. It either has to be visible in the hole or below. Anything above, I believe, is deemed unsafe, and there has to be at least, I think it was 20 millimeters within the bottom mount. Otherwise there wasn't enough travel in here, which makes total sense. So I set it, I gave it a couple turns. I'm just gonna lock it right now. And this is gonna be pretty high up. I mean, honestly, I have a feeling I'm gonna have to adjust this right away. I'm gonna stick this in the car just like this. And then what you wanna do afterwards is put the tire on and then compress the entire suspension arm to see where this shock body compresses this bump stop. And so as long as this is compressed all the way at the top and your wheel is not hitting any of the inside of the wheel well, then you're safe. So depending upon where this lands right now, I may have to raise this bottom arm up a little bit higher in order to maximize that travel. So I'm going to stick this in right now, get it all tightened up, and then put my wheel on. One thing to note that they want you to do is they do want you to disconnect your strut arm from the actual rest of the lower control arm so that this whole assembly is able to move at its maximum. Otherwise, if the strut bar is connected, it's going to move the rest of the chassis with it. So you want to make sure you're maximizing just this suspension area. Okay, I got my wheel on and I have the jack underneath the car. So what we want to do is jack up suspension until the car lifts off the ground, or starts lifting off of the jack. So you want to basically lift it until it starts showing that it's under load and the jack is actually lifting the car. There it is. Started to lift the car. Full contact with the bump stop. The good thing is my wheel is still turning, which means it's not contacting anything. I can feel up here. My roll job did me well. So let me see if I can check out the bump stop. It is really difficult to see on camera, honestly, but from what I can see through the tire is that I do see compression of the bump stop all the way at the top. So there is additional clearance available. What I can do is drop it down further, and what that's going to do is when I'm lowered, it's going to give me more suspension travel so that my ride will be better in the rear and my car can move further up. I could probably safely move it up another 30 millimeters maybe. So I'm gonna try that. Okay, so what I'm gonna do to make an accurate measurement of my 30 millimeters that I'm kind of guesstimating. So I'm gonna take a micrometer and just add 30 to it. 29.99, good enough. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is take this size, and I'm gonna add it to my coils. Bring it up. Turn it up. Get in there. I think that's all I really want to go. So maybe not the top, but you can see the clearance in here it's not super bad, but it's getting there. I would say that's as comfortable as I'm willing to take it. She's dumped. All right, so now that bump stop height is set, what I want to do is lock this in place so I don't have to move it anymore. And so it doesn't move when I'm adjusting the ride height. So I'm gonna grab my spanner tool, whatever it's called, and my torque wrench, and then torque this to 90 foot-pounds. Okay, so next step, according to Annex, is you can set more than one strut to the same bump stop height. We can set both rears to the same. These are wildly different now, so this is the one that I adjusted. This is the one I need to adjust. So all I need to do is move up the lock ring on the bottom and then adjust this so it's within the same height on the shock body as the one on the right. Okay, my first attempt was bad. It was too low, so I am going to raise it. I did a little chat GPT calculation. I need to raise it about 1 inch. So they said you should raise the spring purchase about 1.75 to 2 inches to gain 1 inch. So I loosened the lower one. I'm gonna measure 1.75 inches on here, and then I will adjust the ride height this much higher. My first attempt, the wheel was freaking dumped. It was bad. Could barely get my car back off the ground. I might be here a little while. All right. Oh, it doesn't look bad. 12.5. I feel like I need to be higher than that, even though it looks damn good. It's freaking low, and it's gonna settle 5 to 10 millimeters. All right, my ride height seems to be adjusted. Take a measurement here so I can duplicate on the other side. Update. It's about 12:30 at night. I am gonna call it for the day. So as you saw, I got the rears on, I got the fronts back off. What I decided to do right away before tomorrow was throw my fender liners back in. I got those buttoned back up. I was able to retain the clips in the top just by, there's a little bit of a gap right here, but it's pretty good. I put zip ties where the bolts usually go, or the screws usually go right here, and it was able to work. So it looks good. I did that to both sides. So all I gotta do tomorrow, throw the bumper on, the rest of the underskirting, alignment, and I'm driving. All I got for an alignment was toe plates. I've never used them before, so hopefully I can set my toe at a minimum. Camber looks okay. Anyways, I will see y'all in the morning. All right, bright and early, time to get the bumper on. Okay, I got my fender liners back in, I got my front bumper back on, and then buttoned it all up. It's always funny when you take shit off, more stuff is left behind. I know where this goes. It's not really necessary, but it's like inside of the bumper here. It fell off, but I did loosen my tie rod ends, so I can do a little toe plate adjustment. So I've never used toe plates before, but I'm going to get these set up with the tape measures, check my tire pressures first, make sure they're all the same, and then, yeah, go to town. Okay, so my understanding of these toe plates is that there's different ones out there. These were the ones that get the fastest. There's no stand or anything. They're pretty basic design, but they do come with tape measures, so you can stick the tape measure in the bottom slot, like so. Just gonna push it as far as I can, make sure they're even, and then you kind of line up the plate to your car. And putting it flat against the wheel like this, at the top. Try to line the center here of the wheel with the center of the plate right here. All right, now let's check the other side. Okay, so I got my wheel straight. I'm checking this out. I'm at 71 millimeters here, almost 72, almost at 5 feet, 1/8. Right here, I'm at 5 feet, 1/8. So I'm slightly towed out, which I believe when I was looking at it is what I kind of assumed, that I was slightly towed out. So I need to adjust the front left here in. I need to move it closer towards the front of the vehicle. So I need to go left. Yeah, I think that's what I gotta do. I'm gonna try it. All right, guys, I found success. So I'm at 5 feet and 11/16. 5 feet and 11/16 over here. So I think I'm straight. I was able to just keep the plates attached, basically. They're like not attached, but they're just like sitting here against the wheel. And then I lifted the car maybe, I don't know, a couple inches off the ground. And I reached my hand in there. I could see through the wheel where I need to adjust it and turn it. So yeah, I just did it like that, and I was able to get it at least all adjusted. I'm gonna reach my hand there and just tighten up that tie rod nut, and then move on to the other side. Wow, guys, I got super lucky on the other side. Other side is perfect. 5 feet 3/4, 5 feet 3/4. Cool. So I'm just gonna tighten that up, and then I'm gonna figure out the rears. Okay, so I did the rears. I didn't really show it, but what I will do is put up on the screen a picture of the document from the service manual about where you should be adjusting the rears. So it's actually an eccentric bolt, and how to adjust it is on the document. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I was only able to adjust one side because my left rear side was seized. That bolt, I gave it the beans with my air gun, everything. It would not come loose. So I'm gonna have to give it some PB, maybe some heat. I'm not gonna do it today because I'm running out of time and it's within spec. Let me tighten up these lug nuts and go for a test drive. Well, we did it, boys and girls. We got a successful alignment. My car drives straight, the wheel drives straight. It's amazing. And it's so great being able to say that because, oh no, I went down the road with speed bumps. Oh shit. All right, we're not bad. We're not bad. Oh, this one's big. This is a big boy. Ugh! Yeah. No, it's so amazing to stay my wheel straight because my buddy Stefan was such a hater. It's like, you can't get it done. Alignment plates aren't magic. Blah, blah, blah. Guess what? They did some magic today. And f you, Stefan, for all your bullshit. I am going to drive this bitch up to Milwaukee for the weekend. I drove it for about a good 15 minutes. I ripped the shit out of the steering wheel, try and make some noise, and it sounded pretty good. I'm really happy with the outcome.